Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Janet Lockhart Jones coming to you live from New Orleans, Superbowl Media Week. We are here live at the Media Center, and I am with one of my colleagues, Mr. Cedric Singleton. Cedric, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
I am Cedric Singleton. I am with Peak Performance Leadership Institute. And John Maxwell said everything rises and falls with leadership.
Yeah, that's a great introduction to what Cedric and I will be talking about today. We're going to talk about leadership. And so today you're going to be privileged to hear, 6 characteristics of leadership as shared with you by Dr. Janet and Cedric. I think together, Cedric, we have a combined 50 plus years of leadership experience. And by the way, I am the president and founder of Lockhart Jones Consulting. Lockhart Jones Consulting, we are a personal and professional development, executive coaching, and leadership development organization. And Cedric, a little bit about what Peak Performance does.
Yeah, so before I started Peak Performance, my leadership started in the military. So I was 4 years as a military officer, followed by 30 years in corporate America and different leadership roles on the commercial side. And I decided to then take that experience and found Peak Performance Leadership Institute, where I do leadership consultant speaking with corporate leadership organizations. My forte is on the sales side of the business, but I also work with leaders to help them organize their businesses as well. So, it is something that I think is much needed in all sectors of life, but that is my forte. Yes.
Absolutely. And like Cedric, I work with high-performing leaders who have reached sometimes the highest echelon of their career. It doesn't necessarily mean they've found the joy that they see, because that's a whole different story, and we're not going to talk about that today. But we are going to talk about what we have collected as our top 6 leadership characteristics. Now, we will say that these 6 characteristics are what Cedric and Janet are sharing with you from our decades of experience and expertise. But we've also found them also to be true. We do have social proof because we deal with high-performing leaders all the time in our regular business. And so we want to share this with you because there's so much that is written about leadership every single day. In fact, there's too much. Also, as I'm sure you know, Cedric, if you go out and Google what is leadership, you'll probably come up with 10 billion definitions, right?
That's right, yes.
So today, we're not going to even tackle that beast about what is leadership. The short answer, leadership is a person who is able to influence others to get things done.
That's right.
I mean, that's like the simplest, most basic introduction, or I should say definition of leadership, right? So we're going to just put a pin in that, and we're going to get right to our 6 characteristics of effective leaders, as collected from Cedric and Janet. Cedric.
Yes.
Pick any of our 6. Start us off.
One of the best things that a leader can do effectively, or said differently, one of the worst things a leader can do ineffectively is communicate. I have seen firsthand if a leader says something, well, let me say it this way. If a leader says something, people will listen.
Yes.
And if a leader says it in a way that's effective, he can get an army of his people to follow, and good things will happen.
Okay.
I won't name names.
Okay. Please don't.
I will not do that. But I will simply say that I worked in the healthcare industry for quite a long time.
Yes.
And I've seen some very, very effective leaders navigate some very critical situations. I would say some very, in some cases, life-threatening situations, extremely effectively by their ability to communicate what to do. So I'll say it on the positive side, that just by communicating effectively, they were able to make really, really positive things happen in the most critical situations.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, and one may ask, well, what do you mean by effective communications? And there's a program that I have, well, I should say a keynote that I have delivered several times now, and it's titled Communicating with Impact, and there's 3 components of that. And one component is clarity.
Yes.
Being clear, speaking without ambiguity. The other one is credibility, whether that means bringing data. I used to work for someone who said, in God we trust, everybody else bring your data.
That's right.
Right? What's your evidence? So that's the credibility piece.
Yes.
And then it's the confidence. You have to illustrate to your audience that you believe in what it is that you are saying. So clarity, credibility, and confidence. So communication. Let's go to the next one. Should we? All right.
Let's do that.
Okay. All right. So I want to go to and talk a little bit about trustworthiness.
Yes.
Woo! Because,
Yes.
just the word trust.
Yes.
That's a huge word when you're talking about leading people
Yes.
or leading others. If your people can't trust you,
Yes.
and so what do I mean by trust you? I mean, you say one thing,
Yes.
and then you do that thing.
That's right.
It's not that you say A, but you do B.
Yes.
Also, I think you mentioned and may talk a little bit later about the importance of protecting your people.
Yes.
Your people need to know that you have their back, that you are an advocate for them, for the function, etc. But really, trust is about, are you behaving in accordance to your beliefs? Are you letting your people know that they are first? Are you doing what you say you're going to do? And there's no guesswork in that.
That's right.
There's no guesswork in that. And then are you showing up when you say that you're going to show up? That's what an effective leader does. Not just talk some mumbo jumbo, that's a Janetism. Not just talk some mumbo jumbo, but you walk the talk, right? You walk the talk. So people want to work for people who they can trust.
Dr. Lockhart.
Yes. Talk to me.
You talked about in God we trust.
Yes.
Everybody else verify.
Bring your data.
Bring your data. And I mentioned that I was in the military.
Yes.
In the Vietnam War.
Yes.
Talking about trust. I'm gonna drop a pin in this.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop the mic on this.
Okay. Go ahead.
Here's where trust gets real.
Uh-huh.
There were lieutenants in the Vietnam War that the soldiers did not trust. One of the biggest casualties in Vietnam was friendly fire.
Yes.
Friendly fires from soldiers that did not trust the orders from their lieutenants.
Ooh, Cedric.
I'm gonna leave that right there.
Yes.
That's where trust gets real. If you don't believe in your leader, I'll let you finish that one.
You heard it.
So
if you don't believe in your leader, you finish the statement.
you finish that statement. So
All right.
there you go.
All right, Cedric. So we have hit excellent communications and trustworthy. What's next?
So let's go to people first.
Ooh.
Let's go to people first.
You mean are you trying to tell me and the audience that an effective leader puts their people first?
You should.
Okay, tell us more about that.
So a lot of times you got to say, why do you want to be a leader? Do you want to be a leader? The young folks talk about flossing.
Yes.
Maybe that word is dated now too, because I don't know. I might be a couple words behind. So,
okay.
But
well, that's okay.
But do you want to be a leader because you want all the glory, or do you want to be a leader because you want to help others be successful?
Yes.
You want to help the organization be successful? Do you want the mission to help the organization be successful?
Yes.
That is what people first means. If you want your talents, if you want the talents of the organization, if you want others to be uplifted, then you're in the leadership position for the right reason.
Yeah.
And people will see that.
Yes.
And so people first means that the really good leaders have that in mind. And what ends up happening, and I've seen it a million times, what ends up happening is that organization that started out, small, it grows not because that leader is bigger, it's because that leader makes every single person bigger. And it's not an addition, it's a multiplication that ends up happening. And so leadership that puts people first becomes a math problem of multiplication versus a math problem of addition.
Ooh, you've just dropped some golden nuggets there, Cedric.
I try.
Ooh, Lord, people first. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about this notion of integrity. Now, integrity and trust are definitely related, but when we talk about integrity, we're talking about a leader who will do the right thing in the face of adversity. Let me say that again. Do the right thing in face of adversity. Because organizations put so much pressure on leaders today. Leaders also have to manage up. Lead up, lead down, lead horizontally, lead outwardly. And the pressure can become enormous.
Yes.
But an effective leader, if you're going to engender that trust from those whom you lead, you have to be willing to sometimes stand alone. Because if doing the right thing means you stand alone, then you have to stand alone.
Yes.
So integrity is about having the backbone to do what's right, even if nobody's watching. Even if no one is watching. And that's really one of my core values. Because without integrity, I don't have anything. I want people to be able to know that if Janet says A, or she's going to deliver A, then Janet's going to deliver A.
Right.
There's no in between. And see, leadership is messy. There is no prescription for leadership. And the type of leader that you are comes from within. There's one of my clients I work with, they have this saying called River of Life. When you show up as a leader, everything that you have experienced up until that moment is going to be integrated in your leadership style and how you lead. That's your beliefs, that's your value system, that's your educational background, that's how you grew up, that's everything. So you cannot drop your river of life just because now you're at a leadership role. So you have to always check yourself. And integrity is a key linchpin of effective leadership.
I watched an interview, it might have been 10, 15 years ago. There were these former players of Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy is one of my favorite players and coaches because the perfect word for Tony Dungy is integrity.
Yes.
And one of his players said that Tony Dungy said to this player, "There's never the wrong time
to do the right thing."
Do the right thing. I just like to say things and then drop the mic and then continue. That's what I do.
And you do it well.
I try to do that. Well. But that's it. I mean, integrity is just when it's time to do the right thing. It doesn't matter what's going on around you.
Yeah.
You just got to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And some people, are able to do that, and you want those people to be leaders.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. What's next? We got two more.
So we got inclusion.
Ooh, inclusiveness. You want me to take that one, or you want to take it? Okay. Inclusive. This is not. I'm not going to give you a sermon on diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's not what this is about. But an effective leader, an admired leader, is one who respects the capabilities and limitations of everybody on their team. It doesn't matter whether they're black, white, blue, orange, or green, 2 legs, 1 leg, blind, deaf, LGBTQ. It does not matter. An inclusive leader meets people where they are. An inclusive leader tries to bring out the best in everyone, does not discount anyone because of how they look, because of the color of their skin, because everyone has gifts. Everyone has gifts. There's another colleague of mine who I'm connected with in the UK, and her platform is everyone's born with a gift. And so if you are desiring to be at your best as a leader, then inclusiveness should be one of your core values, because everyone matters. Everyone has a gift. Would you agree?
I absolutely would agree. I would also say, so I won't add to what you just said. I will just say, all right, let me just say it differently. I will add to what you just said with a different perspective in addition to that. And that is this. I think we have to get grounded with humanity.
Yes.
And as long as we're breathing,
Preach.
as long as we're breathing, I would have you consider the following. Anybody who you're looking at, they're probably going through one of the following 3 stages. Look at somebody today and consider the fact that they probably have just gone through something, they are going through something, or they will go through something.
Amen.
As long as they're breathing.
Amen.
That's just how life works.
Amen.
They've just gone through something, they are going through something, or they will go through something. So in addition to everything that Dr. Lockhart just said, let's just kind of have a little bit of humanity, because
Yes.
when you think of being inclusive and inclusion and all that she just said, on top of that, when you lack humanity,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
and you don't just take into consideration that we're all kind of going through things in this
Yes.
world, then that just adds to the fact that, you know, it just can create just a toxic environment that we just don't need to have.
Yeah.
So just consider, again, not to be preachy, just consider it. I would just ask you to just consider it.
I don't mind you preaching, because sometimes people need to be preached too. I'm gonna let you take the last one, and that is on producing results. Ha!
Oh yeah, so
Talk to me.
You know, at the end of the day, when you're a leader, here's something that you have to be comfortable with. You have to just, I would say it this way, because I've been in many leadership positions. At the end of the day, you are there
Right.
to produce results, right?
Right.
All the other things you should have as a part of being a leader, because you're dealing with people.
Yes.
Right? So you should be able to communicate. You should have integrity, right? You should, you know, be trustworthy. All those things are the characteristics that you should have as a leader, quite frankly, as a human being. That being said, you're in that role to produce results for whatever organization that
That's
you're
it.
in.
That's
So
it.
let's not miss that huge
Results matter.
part of the job.
Results matter.
And you need to understand and be, I would say, accountable enough to say, if I cannot do that, you know, even though I may have all those other qualities, I may not be the person for this job. Because at the end, because think of it this way, if you don't produce results, then other things that are not that good will have to happen to that organization.
That's right.
They're going to have to do restructuring. They're going to, things that are not that positive that will have to happen to the
Yes.
organization that you're responsible for if results don't happen.
That's right.
So that's the real deal that
That's
has to
it.
be considered, you know, as a part of the leadership equation.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Results, excuse me, absolutely matter. So ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it. You've heard the 6 leadership characteristics as collected from the experiences and expertise of Dr. Janet and Cedric. What were they? First one, excellent communication, trustworthiness, produce results, people first, integrity, and being inclusive. If you can master those as a leader, because remember I said leadership is messy.
Yes.
And there's no prescription. You cannot just take a pill and become a great leader. And leadership is inward out focused. So if you don't have it inside, if you're not good on the inside, If you can't put people first on the inside, if you don't care about integrity or trustworthiness, and you cannot practice humility, perhaps you should not be in a leadership role. I thank all of you for taking this journey with Cedric and I. We are really enjoying ourselves here at Superbowl Media Week, and to produce this on the media floor for Super Bowl week is everything. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, Cedric and Janet signing off.
There you go. Very
Cedric,
nice.
Thank you so much.
This has been great.
This has been great. Bye-bye.